This episode of Southeast Iowa Today is brought to you by Griner Auto Body of Washington, Iowa, using state-of-the-art techniques and decades of experience to get your car back on the road after an accident. Car Doctor of Washington, Iowa. No matter who Frankensteined it, they can fix it, clean it, and customize it. McDonald Boneyard of Keota, Iowa, for all your farm equipment and auto recycling needs. For great food, it's your choice. Your Choice Family Restaurant of Wayland, Iowa. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Come to our cruise-ins this summer on the second Tuesday of the month, June through September. Girling Repair of Winfield, Iowa. If your mower is dead, call Fred, your Husqvarna, Aaron's, and Gravely dealer. Fred also fixes and sells snowblowers. B&B Propane and the family of Jet Stops. Dutch Market and Coffee Talk of Washington, Iowa. Dutch Market can handle all of your grocery needs. They even have a conference room you can use for free. Coffee Talk's drive-thru is open and ready to serve you coffee, energy drinks, sandwiches, baked goods, and ice cream. They all present you the award-winning Southeast Iowa Today. Here's the author of Christie's Journey, The Beat Goes On, and your host, John Bain.
Thank you, announcer Cody Roy of NewEnglandDukes.com for your golden pipes and wonderful introduction. On this episode, I am back at Dunn Brothers Coffee in Burlington, Iowa. I'm meeting with Leo Hollowell and Nick Gavin, and they are from the Des Moines County CERT. What's the Des Moines County CERT? You're going to find out. Leo and Nick, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. You gentlemen are with Des Moines County Community Emergency Response Team. That's a big title. I'm guessing you guys do some big things that go with that. Nick, can you kind of just get the conversation started and tell us what all you guys are about?
Yeah, our team, commonly referred to as just Des Moines County CERT, we are involved in a lot of things in the community. Mostly where you'll see us is directing traffic during events, where we're seeing, like if you see downtown where they have road closures and stuff, we're down there making sure that people stay safe, keeping traffic under control. We also do, for training, we also do search and rescue. And just this weekend, May 10th, we helped with the Northern Des Moines County Fire Department. They did a house training burn, and we did traffic for them out there as well.
Okay, so you guys not only when there's an emergency, but even times when you're training or even public events, you guys are there.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. So how long has CERT been in existence?
The CERT program in our area has been about 15, 20 years.
About that.
The original CERT program was started in Los Angeles. I believe it was in the 70s.
Oh, okay.
Around 74, 75, if I remember right.
So just spread it east and went nationwide,
yes,
huh?
They took that program that Los Angeles created and it just spread throughout the nation.
That had to do with FEMA. FEMA took it to cover, thought it was a good program, so they adopted it, and that's how it's mainly got spread nationwide.
Okay.
FEMA.
Okay. When you're working at an event, or if you're training for, God forbid, the bad disasters and things that happen, what is the most important part of your involvement in it to you? And we'll start with Leo on that.
Big involvement is just, again, safety. We can't stress safety enough. Safety with our team members, safety with the general public that we're coming in contact with, and just to make sure that if it's something really bad, that we can help calm fears of people, and just to let them know we're going to be looking out for them.
Okay, and Nick, for you?
Basically, I'll echo what Leo said. The community response team that we have, our job is not to be the first responders. We don't go rushing into the burning buildings. We don't, cut cars open when there's an accident. Our job is to support the fire departments, support police departments. That's why, like I said, we train with them, but we also train to be able to take care of certain things that, in a situation where they might be overwhelmed, we could step in and say, hey, we can take this to a certain level. After that point, then we have to wait for the first responders to come in.
So how does someone recognize someone from CERT? How do they know? Do you have a uniform or something? How do they know that you're actually supposed to be there and you're helping?
At the event, we all wear bright yellow vests with our logo on the back of them.
Okay.
And if anybody even questions it, all of us also carry county issued ID.
Now, we're recording on Monday, May 12th. I know by the time we're going to air this, it's going to be a week from today, so that'll be May 19th. So we're going to kind of talk in past tense about an event that hasn't happened yet on Saturday the 17th. But so I'm going to say, what happened on the 17th?
Okay, so on the 17th, it is the hands-on part of what we do for a yearly academy. In this case, the academy was in November, the first 2 Saturdays in November. They did the classroom work. And then on the 17th, it's going to be, we start at 8 a.m. and they get the message out through the phone that says, we have, in this case, it's going to be a search and rescue. We're going to send the message out. They're going to show up. There's going to be report to the EMA office at 8 a.m. This is what we have going on. Kind of like if we were to get deployed on an actual event.
So I'm assuming maybe the two of you know where this was going to be, but the rest of your group does not?
Yes.
Okay.
The board members, we go through and we plan out. This year it's at the EMA office. Last year we were out at Big Hollow.
Gotcha.
And we have 2 rescue Randys, which are big dummy dolls. They were out in the woods, and we had team members go locate them out in the woods, and then they were trained on how to, if there was wounds, how to wrap them, splinting, anything that may be a hazard, taking care of that type of stuff as well.
So do they have like a time limit to get those rescue Randys?
We just try to do as quick as we can, but yet we're stressing again safety, getting people's feet good and wet to understanding what they went through the classroom training for.
Gotcha.
And we have one of the things we have also we have an exercise called cribbing. Hopefully we have materials that the materials are hopefully be there. We'll set up on Friday night and to be ready to go on Saturday morning.
It's really where you're training, the rubber meets the road, so to speak.
Yeah.
So you might have said this and it escaped me, but how many folks are involved in CERT here locally?
Right now, we have a total of 16 members. And then of the 16, there's 4 of us on the board.
Is there an age requirement as far as a minimum age that you can be to be part of this group?
Minimum age to be able to participate without a parent is 18.
18, okay.
We have had under 18 before, but any event they respond to, they have to be with their parent. So their parent also has to be willing to join.
Okay.
As far as the training, the academy, they don't have to be. They can come in and train. And as the academy as a whole, we put on open to the community. Joining our team is not a requirement for the academy. If you want to take the 2 weekends and that's it, you're more than welcome to. We don't put any pressure. We would like you to join our team. Every hand helps. But if you just want to take the training and then have it for if it's needed, we don't pressure anybody to actually join the team.
Okay. So how often is the training made available?
We do it here once a year.
Once a year, okay. Okay.
And we actually, it used to be in November. We actually, discussing amongst ourselves, we wanted to put the academy dates closer to when we did the outside drill. So our next academy is going to be in February, the first weekend, February 7th, and then the third weekend on the 21st.
Okay, so we're way ahead on that, which is nice, and
Yes.
that way we can get that information out for folks. If someone wants to learn more about this, is there a Facebook page or a website or a phone number or all the above where they can reach out to you?
Read off the website. Probably have it better to have it in writing. It's DesMoinesCountyIowa.gov/emergency_management/emergency_response_team.
Okay, well, as you were talking and through the magic of podcasting, I did also put it up on the screen so that way when the folks that are watching, they can see it too. The folks that are listening, they're going to have to back it up and play it again, but we'll also have that in the description of this episode. So on like Spotify and Facebook, it'll actually link. So that's nice. YouTube, I think you got to copy it and paste it in your search bar, but we'll get it out there for them. And is there a phone number that is good to use, or do you want to stay away from that?
We don't have a phone number that we use for the team. We do have an email address that goes directly to the board members.
Okay, what's that?
That is CERT@dmcounty.com.
Okay, can you say it one more time for our folks that are listening?
CERT, CERT@dmcounty.com.
Okay.
And that will email all 4 of the board members.
So you guys have been doing this for a while. Can you, without naming names and embarrassing people or betraying their anonymity, is there any kind of crazy stories or situations you've had that you can share?
Well, those all stay in house. That's just kind of with, I guess, following HIPAA laws and everything else. But
Okay.
yes, there's been some kind of funny things. I can't answer that. I don't have to name that member is no longer as deceased. But we were doing a hands-on training. And 6-7 years ago, we was out at the Girl Scout camp, and we was doing like a plane had crashed, and we had setups for bodies here and there, and different. And this lady, she was quite the crackerjack. I forget how old she was, 70s, and all of a sudden, everything she started yelling, "Help me! Help me! Help me!" And she slipped and fall. Well, she only did it to see what the rest of the team how they would respond.
Oh wow!
And it was a very good learning experience. And just like, because I was my hands were helping a team member, and I couldn't get away. I could almost do a visual. And finally, some other team members showed right up there and everything else. But then after she's just laughing about it and everything that she done. It's like we commended her for it. And matter of fact, with her depth and everything, we have an award given to a team member. We call it her name and award and everything for how much they've been involved with the team over the past year.
And that's great recognition and a remembrance of her.
And it is, because she was quite the highlight of. She was, like I say, she was out there. I'm getting close to what her age was now myself. I know what physically I started to get catching up. And I was one of the members with a house burn Saturday, 3 hours on a hot asphalt pavement and everything for 3 hours. It does my legs in.
I bet you were ready to
I was ready
put your feet up.
And ready for some adult beverage.
So, a cold frosty one maybe.
But I would like to say, one of the things is about CERT, it's not just for responding to the community, but actually we gauge the training for yourselves, your family, and then for your neighbors. And you check on them, and then go, and we have a couple meeting points, so a main one and then an alternate one if we're activated, which in my 13, 14 years, I don't think we've ever used those places and everything. We've been able to go right to the scene or something. Especially like we had 2 years ago with the elevator up at Yarmouth, and we were deployed for that. And
that was a terrible situation. Yeah. But you mentioned a great point, Leo. Is you're doing it for your families and your neighbors, and then the broader community. But in situations, sometimes we may be the only ones there to help.
That's just it. And as Nick pointed out earlier, we're not first responders, but we could be the first boot on the ground. And like if it is a major, like if a tornado would come through, EMS and fire, they're going to be spread thin. They're already short of people,
Right.
And they're of course probably bringing in outside help, 20E agreements, and just like I say. I know one of the things when it comes and I really dread about a tornado is I was on my own. I was like, with the Joplin tornado several years ago. I was down there within 36 hours of my pastor and spent 2 weeks down there. And I knew that town like the back of my hand. I tell you what, it was just, I still get the images in my mind.
Wow. So you guys are, I mean, if we want to stress this, I mean, you're there, you're training, you're there for the communities, and you're there for communities that might be a few miles down the road too.
Correct.
Different counties sometimes.
Yes.
Nick, you got a favorite experience with CERT that you can share with us?
My favorite experience or best experience that I've had so far, and this one comes up quite a bit, is we were doing traffic control one morning for the youth triathlon. It's always on a Sunday morning, and there happens to be a church in the park. So I'm doing my thing. We don't really stop traffic. All we ask is that they just slow down, pay attention to the kids that are going to be on the road as well.
Right.
Because we understand people also live back there, so we don't want to shut them out. So I'm standing there doing my traffic control, and there's this little old lady. The closer she gets to me, her hands go to 10 and 2 on the wheel. Her face goes straight ahead, and her window goes down, and she just passes me, and all she's saying is church, church, and just goes right on by. And it's like, okay, just be careful. I'm not going to stop you. Go to church. But and that comes up quite a bit is when we talk about our traffic control and situations like that where it's nobody got hurt. It's a funny story, and it's just somebody wanted to get to church and didn't want to stop to explain what she was doing. Okay.
We're all creatures of habit, and we get our routes in place in our minds. And even though all we have to do is maybe turn right or left and go down a block, and the place your destination will still be there. But if you do it every week, it definitely messes some folks up for a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, so I want to say this one more time. Des Moines County CERT, Community Emergency Response Team. Okay, and go ahead and share that website again. This way, all those folks that were just listening and couldn't see it, they're gonna have it one more time. I put you on the spot there, didn't I, Nick?
Yeah, I have it down here just so I don't. It's Des Moines County, Iowa, or Des Moines County/emergency_management/community_emergency_response_team.
Okay. Well, like I said before, we'll definitely have that in the this episode description as a link so people can click on it. If there was one thing that I should have asked you guys about CERT that I didn't, that we really should share, please do so.
Well, I know, especially for Nick and I, we're both belong to it's called the CERT State Support Committee. It's through the IADHRC for the state of Iowa. They just started, as a matter of fact, when we joined, our former director, Gina Hurden, she was on the list. And so far, Shannon hasn't got right enough. It's just, she's got too many things still trying to learn yet. A couple of years, but like I say, there's a lot for her to learn and what her responsibilities are.
Sure.
And we've started We'll have a third one this September, what they call a CERT rodeo. And I've been to the first two. First one was Corpus Mason City. Then we had Marshall County last year, and this year we're going to have Lynn County. We discussed at our last meeting about for just members to go, and especially we can almost go up and back the same day. It's 1 hour and a half drive, and so we pay a kind of a stipend to pay for the gas.
Sure.
Like, because they do provide food up there, so, which would be great. That's like I go. I've usually been on the planning committee over, especially for a first year, but subsequent counties have really taken the bull by the horn and just really are coming to the plate. And they're kind of after for Des Moines County, but no way yet. We're ready to host that. And there's other counties that's more existent, but they're not even ready to take it on. It's a big endeavor.
Sometimes you gotta walk before you run on this stuff.
That's the way it is with this thing. Committee and everything. It's only been just for 4 years now.
Okay.
And basically and everything, they just kind of wanted to like, let's get this done, let's say crawl first, then start walking, then get ready to run.
Right. Now, I want to ask again, how often do you guys meet?
We have meetings once a month.
Okay.
It's the
First Tuesday.
Skipped my brain. It's first Tuesday of every month we meet.
Okay.
And they're out at the EMA office.
Okay. And anybody watching this that would like be or listening that would be interested, can they just show up on a meeting night, or should they call ahead and say, hey, we're coming, or is that even allowed, in case they just want to learn?
Well, we did that once a couple of years ago, but
I would say if you're interested, come on out. If you get a chance and you want to email and say, hey, I'm interested, can I come out to the meeting? Just kind of give us a heads up so we know to expect you. That would be good. But we are open to anybody that wants to come in.
So you want to share and let people know and hopefully get them enticed to be involved.
they do understand what we're doing. It's just that's where we're wanting to get the word out there, and it's kind of course. I know one thing is people don't volunteer like they used to.
It is hard.
And then I'm volunteering with 4 different organizations right now, and that keeps me hopping. I just, matter of fact, retired for the 3rd time about 3 weeks ago, and I was like, no.
Well, congratulations.
I'm done working. Actually, I'm 1% still active. I'm on an on-call basis.
Okay.
And but that was with my boss, her idea, and that sounds good to me.
She just doesn't want you to be bored, Leo.
Oh, I'm not bored. My wife laid up with foot surgery about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and she's big into planting flowers. Oh, I'm going to plant all these flowers. Guess what? I didn't. Who does the planting of flowers? I did.
It sounds like you're going to have not only your CERT training coming in play, but your flower planting training.
She said, well, you like to do that for a living. I said, no.
Well, gentlemen, this has been a pleasure meeting you guys. And I'm sorry I'm not able to attend the event on Saturday the 17th, because I think that would have made for some great podcast video to get out there. But hopefully when people... Because obviously, nobody's really going to know where this event's going to take place until it does. But so, maybe somebody will say later on, oh, well, that was what that was about. If they watch this podcast and happen to see it. But we're at 22 minutes and 40 seconds of podcast excellence. And if there's anything I should have asked at this point, then again, one more thing one little nugget that I should have asked about it. Let's talk about it.
I guess my final thoughts would be, like I said, with the academy, even if you don't want to join the team, come to the academy, take the training, because I think a lot of people are under the assumption that it's never going to happen to me. But if you live under that for too long, it's going to happen eventually.
And if things do, I mean, I totally get that, because things do happen to us, and when we least expect it, that's when it's going to happen.
Yeah. And
Cooler heads prevail.
Cooler heads prevail. And the academy, even the basic things that you would think, fire extinguisher, you hear about them all the time. You see how to operate them all the time. But until you actually get put under that pressure, where you're having to do it under pressure, you may forget the past. You may forget that.
Mm-hmm.
We train, sometimes we put pressure on to train under the pressure so that you can think. We never pressure enough to put people at risk, but we do add that a little bit on there so that you can think while you're under that pressure, of how to respond and how to act.
And really, at the end of the day, we have to help ourselves. I mean, obviously, we need help. Everybody needs help from someone else at one point of time. But if we, in a situation of an emergency situation, we can keep our cool and keep the bad to a minimum until the help comes and can help us, it's going to be a better scenario and hopefully a better outcome. All right. Gentlemen, thank you. Go ahead, Leo.
Well, I just think we should have everything out too, what the classroom training is about in the academy. We have 8 units, and there's we have 2 units dedicated to medical, bandaging, stop the bleed, which we can go on and take further training. I'm did for stop the bleed, CPR, AED, basic life support, which is a requirement. We do fire rehab with the West Boynton Fire Department, so we have to have BLS. But we have 2 units on medical. We have search and rescue. We have extrication from a building or something with they got it broken, just transporting different things, and actually learn how to make do with what you got there. You not carry a pry bar and all that stuff around all the time.
Exactly.
And there's psychology. I know and everything. Well, our first one is the organization of CERT with logistics with all the officers, and then we go up above if it's a major thing. Unified command, where maybe a fire chief or sheriff or chief of police is the main person. Usually, when something like that, our EMA director would be there and a unified command, but just how the flow chart goes down. And there's, I'd say, it's just things say fire suppression with fire extinguishers. They have a pretty neat deal for doing the fire extinguishers, and where they just start oil was burning and everything else, and you go up and put out how to do it, and and wearing bunker.
Whether or not you should throw water on it or not.
Yeah, and wearing and actually, of course, it's for liability of the fire departments. We're wearing bunker gear as a firefighter would, so we're safe. And but it's stuff you might never use this training if you just do it for yourself. But I learned one of the things I was back several years ago. I was an EMT. I remember my first call. I was wondering, how will I respond? I got A+ from my boss and everything, but what it was, I'm gonna get to the scene, adrenaline's flowing, just kicks in. It's I don't even remember doing half the stuff I did.
The training took over.
And it took over.
And that's one thing about it in today's age. So many people, when they don't know something, they either Google it or they watch a YouTube video. Well, if the stuff hits the fan, there's no time to look at a YouTube video. So you guys are providing in-person training and practice so that if something happens, people can, their training takes over, like you described, Leo, and they get the job done and help somebody out. Uh, How much better can that be to help your fellow human beings? Yeah.
Doing the most good for most people.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Do the most good for the most people. That's so important. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
CERT, Community Emergency Response Team. That's right, Des Moines counties. And thanks to Nick Gavin and Leo Hollowell for being on the program today. Thanks to Dunn Brothers Coffee for letting us use this wonderful conference room. Thank you for watching, and thanks to my sponsors, Griner Auto Body, Car Doctor, McDonald Boneyard, Your Choice Family Restaurant, Girling Repair, B&B Propane, and the family of Jet Stops, Dutch Market, and Coffee Talk. I'm your host, John Bain. Stay friendly, Southeast Iowa.